Hello, welcome to Dong Nai Radio and Television Station. Here comes the news today. According to data from the Foreign Investment Agency, Ministry of Planning and Investment, as of March the 20th, 2020, the total newly registered capital, adjusted and contributed capital to purchase shares of foreign investors reached 8.55 billion USD by 79.1% over the same period in 2019. In the first quarter of 2020, there were 758 new projects granted investment registration certificates with a total newly registered capital of 5.5 billion USD, up 45% over the same period in 2019. In the first quarter of 2020, foreign investors have invested in 18 sectors, of which electricity production and distribution is leading with a total capital of over 4 billion US dollars, accounting for 47.5% of total registered investment capital. Next is the manufacturing and processing industry, with total investment capital of 2.72 billion USD, accounting for 31.9% of total registered investment capital. Then came the wholesale and retail business, real estate business with total registered capital of 682 million USD and 264 million USD. Bien Hoa City Culture and Information Department has organized a propaganda team and distributed more than 1,000 leaflets to guide the prevention and control of coronavirus for households with conditional business and people in Bien Hoa City. The team informed the people about the current disease situation, propagated the people restricted to crowded places, propagandas about epidemic prevention and control measures, as well as popularized ways to authentic information to avoid causing confusion for themselves and the community. Conditional business establishments also abide by the regulations of temporarily shutting down services to prevent the disease to bring the best effect. On this occasion, the Propaganda Department of Culture and Information Department of Bien Hoa City also posted hundreds of propaganda posters to prevent and control COVID-19 in populated areas. Yesterday, the flight VN36 flight number Frankfurt, Germany to Hanoi landed at Vân Đồn International Airport, temporarily closing the operation of international flight network of Vietnam Airlines. Vietjet, Bamboo Airways, and Jetstar Pacific also suspended international flights. According to a representative of Vietnam Airlines, from now until the end of April 2020, the airline will focus on exploiting domestic flights. Jetstar Pacific has temporarily closed all international routes from now until April the 30th. Bamboo Airways also stopped the only international flight to Korea and delayed the opening of new international routes. Vietjet Air has held international routes to Southeast Asia, China, Taiwan, South Korea, India, and Japan, only opened Hanoi to Tokyo and vice versa, but by the end of March specifically, probably on March the 31st, the 2nd of April, and the 4th of April. In order to prevent COVID-19 outbreaks from becoming complicated, Vietnamese airlines have increased the disinfection spray to prevent epidemics of suspected people. The U.S. is being seriously affected by the disease when the number of COVID-19 infections here is the third largest in the world, with 65,018 cases, of which 921 deaths. And 2 more states have declared states of emergency to deal with the COVID-19 pandemic. President Donald Trump approved the catastrophic claims of Louisiana and Iowa, allowing them to use federal resources to deal with COVID-19. This decision was made in the context of the rapid increase in the number of infected people in these 2 states and would result in a shortage of state and local resources. To date, 5 states have declared disasters in the United States, including New York, California, Washington, Louisiana, and Iowa, with New York being the most contagious state. Earlier, U.S. senators and administration officials Donald Trump reached an agreement on a $2,000 billion stimulus bill to reduce the economic impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. More than 500,000 volunteers have signed up to support the NHS in helping vulnerable people who have been told not to leave their homes during the coronavirus crisis. Information on the number of British volunteers submitted by British Prime Minister Boris Johnson at a daily press conference about the COVID-19 pandemic in the country. According to Mr. Johnson, right after the appeal was issued on March the 24th, the British Health Agency received more than 500,000 registrations within 24 hours, double the target set by the government to help the 1.5 million Britons at high risk of being forced to stay indoors for at least 12 weeks as recommended by the government. That's all for the news today. Thank you for joining us and goodbye.